Welcome to What's Your Story, where we, Jamie Marco,
and Stan Brown.
delve into the extraordinary lives of everyday people.
Listen in as we uncover the unique tales that shape who we are.
One story at a time.
Hey, let's get ready to explore today's story.
Let's do it.
Hello, Jamie.
Good to see you.
Nice to be seen as usual.
Have you had a haircut lately?
Nah, it's kind of a little rough. Just got out of the shower, played my perfunctory 2 pickleball games this morning. I'm
Nice.
feeling good.
You know what I realized we haven't talked, but you actually love pickleball, right?
Yeah, one could say that. Mom likes it more.
Right. But we have a pickleball candle that you have invented.
We
That's
created the
amazing.
first and only pickleball musical birthday candle, a must for every birthday. That's it.
Yeah, so a listener, if you're not watching, but you can just hear us, you can go to, what is it?
Very simply, pickleballcandle.com.
Super cool. And we're showing it to you on YouTube right here. We got this filter on the Zoom, so you can't really see it, but super cool. It's a trophy. You light it, it sparks, it opens.
Don't tell about the surprise.
Okay, well, there's a surprise, but it's amazing. And you were like, we'll talk about your story and how you came up with this another
It's
time.
just birthdays are fun anyway. It kind of gives you another wrinkle, a little more excitement for the birthday itself. It's a keepsake.
I love it. We'll talk more about that.
Have some fun. Pickleballcandle.com. Thank you very much. Okay,
Okay.
I'm done. Peace out.
Somebody actually asked me, Jamie, what's your story? And I realized that I've actually never shared. Oh,
Call coming.
go ahead. So I've actually, listener, I recognize that I've never shared my story. I don't really think that that's something that people always want to hear, but we will do a special episode where I share maybe my story and how I got into doing what I'm doing. People always ask me, how did you become a speaker? How did you get into this line of work? How did you start a podcast? Maybe you can hear my dad taking a phone call. Yeah, we're unfiltered. You never know what's gonna happen, but when mom calls, you take that call. So my mom just called and he took the call. But yeah, I think it's like so cool that what you do, Dad, and how you got into what you're doing today. And we'll talk about that another time. But a few months back, it was Father's Day, and I didn't get a chance to give you the gift at the time, but I have it now. And so, are you ready for a
I
gift
am
month
ready
into the
to
future?
accept it. This is tomorrow. Yeah, next year's. Just
Yeah.
before you.
Okay, so close your eyes.
That's easy.
Okay, here we go. Put out your hands. Here you go. And just hold it up like this. Pretend you're drinking, and now go ahead and open your eyes. So,
What?
listener, you can't see this, but if you're watching it on YouTube, you get to see I was able to go to this really cool place called Arts Ablaze here in Sarasota and make my dad a coffee mug that has almost like his face on it. And on the back, what does the mug say? What's your story, Stan?
Oh, didn't say Satan.
No, it didn't say
Okay.
Satan. And so my dad has his own mug now that says, "What's your story?" He can have that,
Can I
and
start drinking? Because I have to wash it out first.
you probably should wash it out
Okay.
first.
Very. I mean, that's special. If I lose this, then who it belongs to?
Exactly. Well,
Thank you.
our guest is here, and should we just jump in and get the guest here and
Absolutely.
talk afterwards? I want to just briefly say that I met our guest at a luncheon. And we just started having a conversation. And I said, "Hey, listen, it was just a really cool conversation. It was the Business Observers Entrepreneur Luncheon, where they had incredible entrepreneurs on stage that we got to learn how they started their business, everything from the money game to Detweilers, which are huge, big. Detweilers is a big grocery store here, to the Dwell Company. I mean, all these incredible companies of entrepreneurs. And I got to sit next to Teresa. And Teresa and I had the most amazing conversation. And I just said, "Listen, I'd love to have you as a guest on our podcast." And she said, "Well, go ahead and email me." And I did not realize that Teresa is a county commissioner. So
That's a big
really cool.
deal.
Yeah, and just amazing. And so excited to talk with her. So why don't we let her in? Have you ever met Teresa before?
I don't think so. They may
Okay.
recognize her.
Oh yeah, so we'll let her in and we'll have a conversation. And I'm pretty excited for this conversation. It just shows you that you never know who you're sitting next to, what they're talking. Hi,
Good morning.
good morning. You're on mute. So let's get you off mute. We'll take you off mute. Oh, I was just telling my dad how we met. And I was explaining to him that we were sitting next to each other at a really great luncheon and had this. You just kind of told me about a little bit about your story. And I said, "Oh my gosh, we have to have you on the show." And I apologize, Teresa, but I didn't realize that you were also a commissioner. I didn't realize any of that stuff when we met. I just thought you were Teresa sitting next to me, and
Well,
I thought it was
she's actually both.
you are both. Hi.
Good morning. How
Good.
are both of you? Pleasure to meet you, sir.
My pleasure also. Thank you.
You missed our opening. I gave my dad a belated Father's Day gift. So we were just talking about this mug that I made for him.
That looks like an appropriate mug.
Right?
More
So,
than that, absolutely.
well, we
I'm,
are,
I'm sure there's a story behind it.
there is. There's always a story behind everything we do, but that's not about today. So we are recording, we are jumping in, and we are so grateful to have you on our show today. So we typically start every episode asking the same question. Dad, do you want to ask or you want me to ask?
You can ask.
Okay. So today, and because your episode airs a little bit later than when we film it, we don't try to talk about any dates or anything like that. But today in your life, how are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? One being it's a day that you should not be peopling, interacting with any other humans because it's just one of those days, to a 10 being it's the best day you've ever lived. You don't have a worry in the world. There's nothing stressing you out.
I had one of those days.
Right. Well, also, she's a business owner. She deals with the public. So I'm pretty sure that a 10, I don't think anyone ever really has a 10. We've got one friend who does, but what is your number today?
I say I'm an eight.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
College.
I'm an eight today.
I
Yes.
love it. What
Well,
would
that sounds like you weren't an 8 yesterday.
No, yesterday was not an eight day. That is a very good observation. Yesterday was about a 2 day. Today is an
Ooh.
8 day.
Welcome back.
Ooh, well, so I normally say, what would it take to have you go from an 8 to an 8.25? But I think I might change the question
Let
for
us
you.
just stay 8.
Yeah, no. What do you think is the biggest factor that helped you go from a 2 to an 8 today?
I say sundown.
I would say I had an incredible opportunity to attend an event last night
Mm.
that was very, not only very impactful, but it really recharged my batteries in the sense of I really enjoy hearing other individuals' stories on what it is that really drives them and what they believe in and what they feel to be valuable and how they contribute to their county. And so I quietly sat for about 3 hours and listened to this event that I was at, and they received multiple awards for different achievements throughout the community. And they were very diverse, but very unique. And that was very rewarding for me.
I love that. That's such a cool thing to hear. I love that. Well, let's talk about you and your story. So obviously we
Okay.
know that you now live in Sarasota, Florida, but you didn't start here. So where did you grow up? Maybe you did.
I hail from Hastings, Michigan.
Okay.
And so for everybody who knows Michigan, it is a very, I think there's two stoplights in the town,
Oh,
if
wow.
there are that many. It's very close to Kellogg Factory. It's about an hour south of Grand Rapids. So I grew up in a very, very rural area in Michigan and very close to Lake Michigan. My dad is a retired Baptist preacher, and so everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody's business,
Mm.
good, bad, or indifferent. But it was very much a community. And so my parents decided when I was about 12 years old to move to Florida. They had endured as much snow as they were going to take. And so all five of us kids were wrangled into two vehicles and headed south.
Wow.
Was there a plane waiting for them down here?
Absolutely not. My grandparents, both set of my grandparents, resided seasonally in Florida. So they both lived here 6 months out of the year. One set of my grandparents had a residence in Ruskin, and one was one of those world travelers via a motorhome. And so they came and went every single year from Florida. So they both had residence in Michigan and both had residence in Florida. And so my parents were like, hey, it sounds like a good idea. And so the caravan of seven and two
Oh.
cats and a dog moved in with my grandparents in Ruskin until my parents decided that Sarasota was the place for them.
Kind of a faith, eh?
Say that again.
Kind of a leap of faith.
Oh, it definitely was. I had no idea how much of a leap of faith that was. But my dad felt so strongly about it. My mom was always very supportive. And so she just said, absolutely, if that's where you want to be, then let's go. And I have to be honest with you, there were three of the five children that were not overly
Mm.
thrilled of the idea of moving and leaving all of our friends behind,
Yeah.
but it was really a good move. And we as a family have almost all stayed in the area, which is
Wow.
very interesting. So we have all turned this into our home.
I love that. So how many, you have five siblings. Where do you fall in the age hierarchy? Like, are you,
I'm the middle, I'm the middle child.
I knew I liked you for a reason.
So,
I'm a middle child too.
so, so you know exactly what I'm talking about, but
Yes.
I am the middle of five. I have lost a sibling very tragically, and so he was a sheriff's deputy, and so one of my siblings is no longer with us. But I definitely am that true middle child. I am very much the one who goes, "Is everybody okay? Have we taken care of everything? Is everything in order? What do
Mhm.
I need to do to fix it?" And so, yes, I'm your typical middle child.
I feel you there. So I totally get that. So you moved to Ruskin and then your parents say, okay, let's head to Sarasota. So did you grow up going to school here in Sarasota then as well too?
I did. I went to Sarasota Christian. So I am the second graduating class from Sarasota Christian, woohoo, to
Wow.
my alma mater.
Wow.
Wow.
And it was a very good experience for me. I really enjoyed a private school setting. I excelled at it. I really loved it and very proud of where I went to school.
I
My
love
other siblings did not all go to the same school, by the way. They
that.
had so many incredible school options here. That was one of the reasons that it drew my parents. But I was one of those children who excelled very well in a private school setting.
Wow, I love that. So you go to school, you come here, and then what happens after high school? Where what do you do next? Where do you go?
Well, I married my high school sweetheart.
Oh, no way. How'd you meet? So like you met in high school, obviously, but how did you two meet?
Well, we didn't go to the same high school, so that's what's very interesting.
Okay.
My sister went to a different school, Sarasota High School, and she had several classes with my husband. And I was just like, I think he's really cute. And not to get into a lot of details, my sister went on a date with him, and I was so upset about it. And their first date was horrible, absolutely horrible. He was like, "This is a no-go for me." He and I met. He truly is the love of my life. He is my best friend. We will be married 41 years this year. I feel so blessed. I got so lucky, and we travel life together. And I could not imagine having a better partner for life. I just can't. So I'm
Does
truly
your
very blessed.
sister still talk to you?
Yes. And she is very happily married to her husband as well. And so we just are two very different people and we found the loves of our lives. So we're very blessed.
And they get along.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, we actually all get along. There you go. Figure that one out.
I love that. That's so nice. So you graduate high school, and did you get married right after high school then, or?
Yeah, I literally was married at 18.
Mm.
Wow.
Yes, we both, he is a little older than I am, so he was like 21 when we got married. And so we went through life really growing up together, truly. Went to college as after we got married, went to college and raised two amazing daughters. We have two of the sweetest grandsons on the planet, and
Oh.
we look forward to many, many more, as many as we can get. But really, we took on the endeavor of we both have a very strong A personalities, very much leaders, and said, what is it that we want to do? And so we decided we would start a design company and have had our design company for just under 40 years. It's been, I think, like 37, 38 years.
Great story.
Wow.
Yes. And
Did you go to,
so
did you go to school for that? And where did you go to school?
we are both Eckerd College graduates.
Okay, got it.
So another very good
All,
experience.
yeah.
The liberal arts, I loved the liberal arts. It was definitely, it just spoke my language. And so we're both Eckerd College graduates. He went on to USF for his master's degree. So he always, does and I'm like, yeah, but you started at Eckerd. So we always have that conversation. And my degree is actually in business management,
Okay.
but I've been in the design field, like I said, for almost 40 years. So I absolutely, I'm a female majority owned construction design company. My husband really said, you need to take charge of this because this is really your niche. And so I really enjoyed it. I love meeting people. I love taking something that might necessarily not be the prettiest house on the block, and I get to turn it into somebody's dream house. And I have amazing clients, and it's super fun for me because no 2 days are alike.
Mhm.
But I just really enjoy that. And so it's been a very good career for me. I also worked for Sarasota County for almost 10 and a half years. I
Wow.
did neighborhood relations, business relations, and outreach. And again, it hit that niche of being able to talk to people and
Mhm.
how can we try and make things better and what can we do to really work together. I know it's a horrible thing to even say, yeah, I'm from the government, we're here to help, but I genuinely felt like if there was an issue and we could try and at least figure out what the issue was, maybe we could try and make it be better. It doesn't mean we always can fix it, but we can try and do better. So
Yeah.
that was really fun for me, but I knew that I was going to go into politics one day, and that was kind of a prerequisite. My personality is like, I really want to research it. I want to know everything about it. And I figured there's no other way than from the inside.
Mhm.
And so I really felt like when I was then elected into office, I had a real leg up in the sense of it gave me an opportunity to know the processes, how things work. A lot of the people that I had worked with previously are still there. So it was really like kind of coming home and being able to like get to work right away. So it's been really an incredible adventure.
How did you balance working at the county and then also having your own business at the same time? How did
That was very challenging. That
I
was
mean,
that
like,
was a very full plate. So I ended up doing just consulting while I worked for the county. So I didn't take on a lot of what I would call very in-depth projects. I did more of the consulting. And then when I left the county, I went back into the in-depth where you're there every single day, like 8 to 10 hours a day. And so I really got back into that once I had stepped away from the county and I knew I was going to take some time. I wanted to make sure our family was in a good place, my kids were in a good place. And then that's when I stepped into the arena and said, okay, it's time.
got it. And that's a pretty big, well, actually, I have one question to jump back. Did your dad marry you guys?
My dad did marry us. He married
You
all
didn't know
five of
I
that.
didn't know that. There, I don't know. I did
he
not know
married
that.
all five of his children.
Oh,
All
that's
five.
so amazing. Oh, that's
Yes,
incredible.
it is one of those things that I will cherish forever, forever. And I'm blessed that my dad is still alive.
Yeah.
He's actually one of my mentors. He's 88 years old and we speak frequently. My dad and I have some very good life conversations. Very good.
I can totally understand that and relate to that.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's
And you improved his track record also. 5 hits, no errors.
So I don't know what his track record is overall, but I'm glad that I could be of assistance in that. How's that?
I love that. Well, so you, I mean, like, listen, when I met you, you are a dynamo. You can feel your energy that you are a go-getter, you are committed, and you are there. So I can see how you could have balanced, working and consulting and doing that job. And then you made a very big decision, which a lot of people kind of were like, but you decided to get, like you said, into politics. What was it before you got into politics that was that drive inside you that made you want to do that?
I have to go back a little bit. When I was about 16 years old, first of all, when you grow up in a household that has a dad who is a very public position, and you have a community that is constantly looking at you saying, your family needs to have their house in order, so to speak.
Mm.
My parents had a phrase that I grew up with. And every time I left the house, they would say, remember who you represent.
Mm.
And for the longest time, I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Dad. Love you, Dad. Love you, Mom. But until I got a little older, I didn't realize what that really meant. And so when I was about 16 years old, again, in high school, I decided that I wanted to get very involved in the local politics. And I really caught the bug. And
Mm.
I have been very involved in politics from that point on. My husband and I were both part of the Young Republican group. We've always been very, very active. My husband actually did a high school internship in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
While he was in high school. And so we just kind of traveled through life knowing that it was something we always enjoyed. And we enjoyed being a part of events and supporting different candidates and saying, how do we do a better job at communicating? How do we do a better job at being a part of the community instead of just standing on the sidelines and saying, well, I don't like this or this upsets me. And so we've always been very involved. And when I was about 30, I said, I know someday I'm going in politics.
Mm.
And we talked about it at length. And my husband goes, oh, not me, not me. I'll support you, but I don't want to be in politics. I'm happy to stand on the sidelines, support you, be a part of it. And so I really started looking at what I thought would be the best path for me and where I thought I would fit best. And so it really started many, many years ago. And I just said, if I'm going to take this seriously, I really have to know what I'm getting into.
Mhm.
And so that's when I made the decision that I was going to go work for the county, obviously do those things as far as being involved. And then I really looked at our family and said, I want to make sure that I can protect our daughters because politics is not necessarily the cleanest and funnest experience for families, and it can be very aggressive.
And
And
that's
so,
understatement, I think, of the year.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're not talking about civility yet, but that's a
Yeah.
fun one.
Yeah.
Let
And
me
so
ask you,
I just,
when you're working for the county, did you keep your political ambitions inside and kind of private?
yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Mhm.
And I felt like if I was going to do a really good job at being a good listener,
Mhm.
I had to remain very neutral. And so that was very important for me. And
Good
I wanted to
advice.
make, well, I just wanted to make sure that people knew that I was there because I really did want to, I
Mhm.
just was like a sponge. I wanted to absorb. I didn't have any preconceived ideas. I didn't have any like agenda. I just wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, just be yourself. Just like get to know people, talk to people. If there's something that you think could be better, make note of it.
Mhm.
If you think
Right.
there's something that you can do while you're there, then work at it. So I really enjoyed it. I made some lifelong friends that I still consider very dear friends today. Some of them have since left and moved on to different careers, and we still are in touch. But for the most part, it was just a really good experience for me. And I really just absorbed as much as I could and tried to just really capture, like in the moment, what I thought would be extremely beneficial.
Sure. Wow. And so then you do that for, you said 10 years, I believe you said you worked there.
Yeah, almost 10 and a half years I worked for the county.
Wow, that is a good time. And I found that, Sarasota County has got a lot of tenured team members. Like they've been there for a while, and they've been there same with Manatee County and some counties around us. But that's incredible. So then you leave, and when you left, that was to pursue the political arena.
It was. And I took almost a 10-year period where I just really felt like I watched the climate.
Hmm.
And I kept saying, I just want to make sure that it's the right time. And I had started to step into the arena and then someone else filed for the seat. And I was like, you know what? I'll play nice and I'll step back because I really think that so many times if you can have a rational conversation with individuals, it's better than turning it into a what I would call a knockdown, drag out fest that seems
Yeah,
to occur in a public arena. And
yeah,
I just don't think it's civilized. And I think some of the politics, no matter what level you're at,
sure.
can be very unattractive.
Well,
Did that person know you stepped back?
Yes, they did.
it's
Yeah,
interesting.
we had a face-to-face conversation and I just said, I feel like it's my time, but if you really want to do this, I'll be gracious enough and step back. And I did.
Well, and certainly, we don't talk about age and dive into politics too much on this, and we're not going to, but I just want to say that certainly since you made that decision at 16, thinking about you want to go down the political route, I'm pretty certain I can say that things have changed so dramatically in the political arena from that time of making that, right? We've seen so many changes in parties and just the way things are handled, everything like that. And then you mentioned something about, having children and thinking about that's a really big decision. About a year ago, I can relate to that. I was approached about a position that was available for a school board position, and that was part of my factoring decision is that I've got a young child and I
Yeah.
don't want to be put into that position to where she would ever be harmed, right? Like I was like, and that's unfortunate what happens today is that we see most recently in the news where it could be a very dangerous role to be playing, all around the country.
Emotions
Yeah,
run high.
emotions run high. So how old were your children when you decided to make that full
Sure.
commitment?
My children are in their 30s.
Okay, got it.
And I made sure that if I did not have their support, I would not step into the race at all. It was a family decision. Now, I would say that one of my daughters was like, "You're absolutely crazy. We love you. We'll support you, but are you crazy?"
And
And
you kind of have
then
to be a little bit, right? Like, let's be honest.
I
Like,
think
a little,
so.
yeah.
I think you have to be, I think you
Yeah.
have to have a couple of moments of just, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
I think anybody does that that has a
Yeah.
sound mind. And then our other daughter was absolutely, she's like, "Mom, you've always wanted this. We know it's something that you're very passionate about. You'll be great." And so both of our daughters are very supportive. We're very, and so are our son-in-laws. And of course, my grandson, who's 7, when he saw all my campaign signs, he was like, "Nanny, why is your name everywhere?" He was like, "I don't understand. Why is your name all over the place?"
That was the first position you ran for as commissioner?
No, I actually ran for school board. I ran for school board several years ago, and it was the closest race we've ever had against a 20-year incumbent, and I did lose. It was a really good experience. It taught me a lot. So it
Mhm.
was very, very actually helpful for me. I don't know I felt that way when it happened, but it turned out to be a really good experience, and it was
Did you run
very,
your own campaign?
no, neither time.
Okay.
So,
No, I've had great teams both times. Both times I've had incredible teams.
so I'd love to lean into that, right? Because I think that you have some great advice for people that are sitting out there right now and listening and saying, I'd like to be part of my community. And we started this conversation by you saying people that have been involved in their communities and you were inspired by those stories that helped you go from a 2 to an 8. So I think you've got some really great insight into you ran for school board, you did not win. You know, that was you said you learned some stuff from that. What kinds of things did you learn from actually even starting a campaign? Like that was your first school board, is that correct?
That's correct. Well, the first thing I would say is you really have to be committed. I mean, you have to be
You know,
all
I'm so
in.
sorry. Something just happened. Sound. Give me 1 second. I think my
I can't hear anything.
She can't hear yet.
Oh, now I can.
Better?
Yes, yes, you're
I'm
back.
taking over. Jamie's not coming back. Oh, she's here.
sorry, listener. Technical difficulty. My AirPods just decided to pick up on the conversation. So what some like when you said yes, I'm going to do this. What was like? How did you get that campaign started for the school board? Like, what were some things that helped you start that?
Well, first of all, I think you have to be very committed. And that's not just like a quaint word. You have to be all in. And I mean 150% all in. This isn't just something that whimsically you wake up one day and go, "Oh, I think I'll run for office."
Mhm.
Whatever it is, because it is a huge commitment. It takes significant amount of hours, a painful amount of funds in order to run a campaign. And you have to have a circle of trust that is unbreakable when it comes to your team because you have a lot of darts thrown at you. You have a lot of events you have to attend. You have to have very, very thick skin, and you better be used to very minimal sleep.
Well, you're a parent, so you've got that down on your buckle, right? Anyone that's a
That's
parent, I think, doesn't ever sleep again.
that's right.
I'm experiencing that. And why was it that you started with running for school board? Like, what was it about? Like, that was your first step into it.
Well, I think the reason why I picked the school board was because I just feel so compassionate about just the level of education that's being provided to our children, and then what's the quality of the education opportunities, right? So, for example, we have some of the best schools in the country, and people move here for them. But I still think there are areas that we can always improve. And a significant amount of our schools are really, really stretched thin. I have a sister who's a school teacher. She's actually an administrator, and she talks constantly to me about budgets and the fact that a lot of the classrooms are beyond capacity and teachers are stretched very, very thin. And so I just feel like children are the greatest asset that we have in
No
our
question.
community. And if we cannot give them everything necessary to be successful, then I feel like we have failed. And
Mhm.
whether that means shoes, food, resources for them to find that avenue or that thread that they are going to then go on and be successful at, it's our responsibility as a community.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was really what drove me. And I knew that my kids had the best opportunities, but that doesn't mean that every child
Sure.
has those opportunities.
Yeah. How did you navigate losing that election? Like, what was,
Oh, well, right after it, my husband and I went on a very long trip, and I honestly, I just wanted to like not deal with people. I really I wanted just to like shut down for a while. So for about 2 weeks, I didn't answer the phone.
Mm,
I didn't do, I mean, obviously I functioned and we had a great trip, but I just needed to regroup. I
Hmm.
really needed to just re-energize the batteries and say, you know what? What did I learn from this? How can I do a better job? Am I going to do this again?
right,
Um, do I want to do this again?
right.
And then just come back into the community and get back to work.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. You fell off the bike, get it back on the bike.
I love that. I think that's like incredible. How do you navigate, in your role, obviously, people like to share their opinions with you. And this is like, it doesn't matter what party you are part of,
Correct.
everyone that agrees with you wants to share their opinions, everyone that disagrees with you wants to share their opinions, right? There's a lot coming at you. How do you navigate all of that and manage your own sanity at the same time? Like, I always wonder, like, how do people handle all of that happening?
I think the first thing that you do is, and I have to give my nanny credit for this because she said you have two ears and one mouth.
Hmm.
And so she said you should listen twice as much as you speak. And so for me, I really try to use that rule of thumb. I try to say, everybody, I believe, deserves a voice, whether we agree or disagree. And I think if you can handle it, if I can handle it in a civil manner, in a very respectful manner, I'm not saying it always ends
Sure.
the best or it
Yeah.
goes the best, but I think you at least set the groundwork to say, let's behave like civilized individuals, let's respect one another, let's see if there is a common ground, because you'd be surprised at how many times there really is a common ground, even if you're saying two different things. Sometimes once you actually get together and you sit down, you go, wow, I didn't realize that you felt that way, or I can see over here we could agree on this, or so I think there really is more commonalities than people really are willing to understand or take the time to understand. And if you do give them that opportunity, I think most of the time you can find an area of at least a pause, or to be able to say we can agree to disagree, or we totally agree, or we can work together. I just think it takes the opportunity to try and work through it.
Teresa, I think you're about ready for the national arena.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Where,
I think there's a lot of work to be done here, and I feel very strongly about my community. I'm so blessed to live here. I've lived here almost 50 years. Can't believe it, but I just feel like the legacy that I want to leave for my kids and my grandkids, I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of work to do.
well, we've lived in town about 40 plus years in Sarasota, so the growth that you've endured has been really beyond comprehension. I mean, everyone's discovered a little piece of paradise, and the growth factor is off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. And it's one of these things where I say to people, we're no longer hidden. So we have to try and really manage it with what I call grace.
Hmm.
I think about when I grew up and I used to ride my horseback on County Line Road, which was a dirt road, which is now University.
Wow.
And I used to go pond swimming with my horse. So it's one of those things where when I say that to people, they look at me and I go, but you know what? I still love this town. I love the people. I love the diversity here. I love the ability that I can have some of the finest restaurants. I can still walk through 40% of our county is preserved, never will be grown on conservation land or green spaces or wetlands. And it's the largest green space in all 67 counties. So even though there's growth, there's that balance of
Mhm.
saying, but we still have incredible parks. We have 155 parks. I mean, do you realize you could pick one like basically almost every 2 to 3 days and you'd hit them all in 1 year? So I tell people stuff like that and they go, oh, I didn't realize it. And so I'm like, get outside of your bubble, go
Yeah.
explore, you
Yeah.
know, and don't be afraid to embrace us growing up. I say, we're kind of in the teenage years where, you have a little acne and it's a little awkward and there might be things that you don't like, but you know what? I think if you are willing to, go along for the ride and the adventure, it's going to be pretty amazing. And I think about what it's going to look like when my grandkids are graduating from high school, and I'm like, it's going to be really different, but it's going to be their world.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, and like, listen, our world has changed dramatically. I
Yeah.
think about like, when my dad and I talk about when he was growing up, what were the happening? My husband's 8 years older than I, and so like things when he was growing up, like that's the purpose of life is for things to evolve and to grow and to change. And listen, our whole landscape is different. We've got social media. We're able to have this conversation right here in our little boxes, right? Like things have changed so tremendously, and change is hard. Change is scary, and like you said, sometimes though when we come together, we have the same conversations. We realize that we're maybe using different words, but we want the same things. That's always helpful as well too. So I love what you said there. What advice would you give your younger self today that you think would have helped you as you navigated all of these different things that you've done?
Ooh, that's a good one. Uh, I would say be patient. Don't be so hard on yourself. Never give up on your dreams
Mm,
and give as much financially, mentally, spiritually, time that you can afford to give.
oh, I love that. Where does that come from for you? Is that the lessons that your parents taught you, or like are all of your like where does that fundamental need to give back come from for you?
I think when you grow up in a household with a dad that is very community driven, I'll tell you a story about my parents. So, um, as a Baptist preacher, we moved every 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
So they move you a lot throughout the area. And so, you just kind of get settled, so to speak, and you make friends. And then it's like, oh, but time for you to go. There's a new church over here, or there's a new location over here, or now you're going to take on this. And two things I learned from it was that no matter where you live, it's just the house.
Mm,
Our family unit survived and thrived no matter where we lived, and we knew it. I was very fortunate to grow up in a very loving, compassionate, tight-knit family. The community knew that if there was anybody that was hungry, they were at our back door, and my mom fed everybody, no matter where they were, color of their skin, didn't matter. They were welcomed in our home, and it truly was a home. And second of all, my dad used to always say to us, I don't care what it is that you do in life, whatever it is that you choose to do, you will give back to your community. It wasn't an option for us. It
mhm.
wasn't a secondary consolatory prize. It was the first decision you make. Whatever it is that you do in life, make sure that you're able to then give back to your community while you're doing that.
Mhm.
So it was just kind of like an unsaid expectation, so like if you were, like literally in school, they would say, okay, who wants to volunteer to do this? You didn't think about it. You just like, sure, sure. So I think it's kind of a taught behavior, a learned behavior. Um, I have a brother that is a fireman, a brother that was a sheriff's deputy, a sister who's a teacher,
Mm.
a brother that's a pastor, and myself.
Yeah.
So there's that thread, no matter what it is in your community, and everybody can be a part of it. It doesn't matter what you do. You can be
Mm.
a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, a mom, a dad, a grandparent, and you can still give back. And my parents are in their 80s and they still volunteer 5 days a week.
Wow.
And it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing to me that for them, it's just part of being alive, part of functioning.
Well, the
And so,
family it's a microcosm. It's the basic unit of society, and unfortunately, what you experience has disappeared to a great amount. It's just, I mean, the connection, that cohesiveness is not there in a lot of families.
Well, I think it's society has changed the demand on how much people have to work, where they have to work, what they have to
But
do.
but instead of evolving, it's like de-evolving. We're
Yeah.
going backwards. Unfortunately, you see some of the anxiety in today's society across the board, all ages. It's a very unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you say that because I have kind of a philosophy about communities. So I always have a mentality that when you're out walking, bicycling, driving, you should wave, you should say hello.
Yes.
And I also think that you should look people in the eyes when you address them.
Yes.
And you
Hello,
would be amazed
hello,
at
hello,
you would
hello.
be, you would be amazed at how many people are uncomfortable
Absolutely.
if you do that.
Mhm.
But I got news for you. I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm telling you right now, I say hello to people. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care if they don't answer me back. I don't care if they don't
Teresa,
wave
are
back.
you a hugger?
Um,
Maybe.
She's like, I will wave to you. Don't you touch me.
Let me put it this way. If you are in my close circle of friends, I am a hugger. If not, I would not say that is my first reaction.
The wave is good. The wave is very good.
The wave is, but I also think that as a woman, it's a little bit different. I would greet my, like my girlfriends differently than I would my guy friends. And
Sure.
so, uh, you know, you know what it's like when you're
Yeah.
a woman, you do approach it differently. So, I'm not adverse to it. It's probably not my first reaction.
But I think, like I said, like when I sat down next to you, like I can't tell you how many luncheons or events I've been to, and I sit down next to people and I want to engage with them, but you can just tell that they don't even know how to engage. Like they don't know, like they're not used to peopling, for lack. But we just had this great conversation, and I think that your authenticity comes through with that. Like you really do that. And sometimes that wave or that smile is like the only wave or smile that someone might see, all week or
All day.
yeah, all day. And it
Yeah.
does make a big difference. I used to joke, so right after college, I was an interpersonal communications degree and did not know what I wanted to do with my life. And so my parents suggested, well, go work on a cruise ship for a little bit. So I did. So
No,
I
we,
went.
we really said ship out.
Yeah. No, and so I
They
did.
helped you pack, right?
They did. Yeah. No, they wanted the discount, which was substantial. So they loved it. They went on more cruises in
Well,
those two
it did
years.
say friends and
It
family.
did. They went on like ridiculous amount of cruises in those two years for the discount. But the thing is that I was sharing with somebody is that when you're working on a cruise, when you're walking down the hallway, you are told that you cannot walk by somebody and not engage. And it's not just like good morning. It's hey, good morning. What do you have planned today? Like it's actually engage and have a conversation,
Yeah.
active engagement, not like how are you today? And that's why I'm like the no more how are yous girl, but more about like really engaging. And so our contracts would be we would work 6 months on and then you have 6 weeks off. And it would be funny. I'd be in the grocery store walking with my mom. I'd walk by someone and I'd say, "Hey, good, hi, what's for dinner tonight?" And I didn't know the person, and they'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, who are you?" But it became fundamentally who I am, and that's why I do what I do now. And so I love that you're doing that because if more people just did that and saw each other in that very little moment, just the wave or the smile, I think that at a very surface level would lower some of the frustration we have in our communities as well too, that people just feel seen first, right? So
Yeah.
I love that you start there.
Yeah, and I think too, I think it's again, I'm gonna go back to my 7-year-old grandson. So Fridays is nanny day. And so when I have Ethan, I'll be like, Ethan, we're gonna go do this or we're gonna go do that. He is the most social butterfly there is on the planet. And the guy knows no strangers. And so I would say to him, how do you address somebody? You look them in the eyes, you shake their hand, you introduce yourself, you say, have a nice day, you open the door for ladies, you go, thank you so much. And so I just believe that it's something that if we can set a good example, I hope that it becomes very infectious again.
Yes, agreed. And
Yeah.
I
Great goal. Great goal.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. And what a great position you're in to get your voice out there and help people hear that in so many different ways. So I have just what like two more questions for you. Listen, you are in a very high, intense role. I live in Manatee County. I don't go to your meetings. I don't follow anything online. I try to disconnect. I like to live in my bubble when it comes to that kind of stuff. But how do you relax? Like, what do you do to de-stress, to find some headspace to relax? Is it that you and your husband, like what is it that you do? I won't even.
Target practice.
No.
Okay, now you're gonna laugh. My husband and I are both competitive sporting clays.
Oh, no
And
way.
so I am an avid sporting clays fan. It is a stress reliever for me.
Wow.
So We try and shoot as often as we
That's
can.
it. I tell you, I didn't even know that. I tell you that.
And I'm telling you, it is so relaxing for me. I find it very rewarding. I'm extremely competitive.
Mm,
And so my husband and I we do quite a bit of that. And he shoots like 50 out of 50, and I shoot about 49 out of 50. So,
really?
oh
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And so that's one. The other one that we both really, really enjoy is we both enjoy traveling. We love traveling. It doesn't matter where we go. If it's a weekend away, if it's a new adventure, we both love traveling. And anything I can do outside, hike,
So it's energizing, sure.
yeah. So for me, it's just a very peaceful place. And I'm an avid reader. So those are all avenues that for me are just kind of an opportunity to just like step away. Uh, and I don't mean like read the local newspaper. I mean like read, like
Fiction,
whether
nonfiction,
Everything.
but
all the above, it doesn't matter.
Play shooting question. I've shot a little
Yes.
bit in the past, but how many have you had released simultaneously? They do more than two at a time?
Yes.
How many? What's the max?
Well, I normally shoot with a 12 gauge double barrel shotgun. And so you do the two ones. If you're going to do what I would call multiples, you have to change up guns. So the most that I've actually tried at once was four.
Oof.
wow. Didn't they used to do that
So
with cruise ships?
Oh, on the backs, yes.
Or that they stopped doing it environmental
I
purposes?
just want to be able to record the sound of you jacking these and put it in my garage. So when someone comes to visit, they
Really?
I just tell people all the time, I just say, if you hear me say the words pull, that means you better run.
it's the same as duck.
You guys, you
Pull.
whatever. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I just think it's so cool how you started in this like tiny little town with two stoplights and then, migrated down to Florida, not by choice. It sounds like you were one of the three kids that was like, don't move me. Maybe not, I don't know.
I
And
was.
there you
I
go.
was.
But then you took that, and you took that and you led with that and you found a place, you had a mission when you were 16, you committed yourself to that. I love how you said you wanted to work in the business before actually being part of the business. I think that's just like so incredible. So, what's next for you?
I've had a lot of people ask me that. I'm very focused on what I'm doing right now. Obviously, we in Sarasota County, we actually have terms. So we're term limited, right? So Manatee County does not share the same,
Oh, I didn't realize
uh,
that.
they do not. So Manatee County is a non-chartered county. We're a chartered county. So there are some differences. We are allowed a maximum of two 4-year terms back to back. So that's an 8-year window. And
Mhm.
it may seem like a lot of time, but it's a very small time when you're trying to get a lot of projects done.
Sure.
So I feel very focused for the well, now it's about 7 years, but I feel very, very focused on just making sure that that is my number one priority. I still do consulting on the side for some of my special clients that I just love and adore to get to do projects with. The ability to be able to be a nanny is the greatest reward in my life. I mean, I love my kids, but man, those grandbabies, I would snatch the moon down for them if they asked. So hopefully we'll have more. But if not, I'll spoil the two rotten that we have. And as far as, people have said, what do you want to do after you're done as Sarasota County Commissioner? I don't have an answer for you because I don't feel like I know what the future holds yet when it comes to after that. I just
So
want to enjoy.
how many commissioners are there?
In Sarasota County, there's 5. So I am the only female on the board, which is an
No, 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 no,
interesting.
no. They're the only males on the board.
Exactly. There you go. I like that
No,
take.
I really enjoy it. I really enjoy. We have a great board. We have a very diverse board, but it is very interesting, and no two meetings are ever alike. And it is. I love the process. I absolutely love the process.
Is there a plan on a parking program for Siesta Key
No,
Beach?
stop. We're not talking about that here. Stop it. I actually just talked to somebody last night who grew up here, and we were talking about how talking about evolving, how I remember that parking lot before it was all changed. And it was just like, you've seen that totally change. And people say, we as locals, we don't go to Siesta anymore. We go somewhere else because you want that small feel. But listen, we are just grateful to be able to have the most amazing, incredible, beautiful beaches, to be able to do some incredible, amazing things. And we're grateful that
It's
we
a
have.
very special place, no
Yeah.
question.
And I think it's
It
incredible.
is, and when you travel abroad and you walk on different beaches, I'm like, I
Oh.
want to go back home because I'm like,
Well, your feet are on fire. Yeah.
being back home is so awesome that you're just spoiled.
And people don't believe it. I'm like, the sand doesn't get hot. Like, it's actually cold to your feet. Like, no. I'm like, no, it's cold sand. It's weird. I can't explain it. I don't know why, but it's amazing. Yeah. So if you're listening, you've never been to Siesta Key or been to the beaches on the west coast of Florida, come on down. They're
Put it
incredible.
on your list.
Yes. And Teresa, we're just so grateful that you took time to talk with us today and share with us. I think there's so much more to your story about even like your design. And gosh, we renovated this house, and that was the stress that comes from that is not. So just give you a little insight. This was my parents' house. They designed it first. We bought it from them and redesigned it, and then we're living with them while we were redesigning it. So you can just imagine. I still love you, Dad. Still love you.
There was a sanity clause in the agreement.
Now I have a phrase that I say, both of you, your crowns will be great in heaven.
There you go.
But don't get there too soon.
Yeah. No.
That's right.
Thank you so much for what you do every day to help our area. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us today and to share a bit of your story. And it's only, a small little bite of it, but it was so cool to hear more about you. So we're just grateful.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. This has been
Thank
fun.
you,
Time went
Madam
really
Commissioner.
fast.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you
Thanks.
too.
Look forward to seeing you at a luncheon in the future as well.
I look forward to it.
If you wave, you also wave goodbye, yes?
Yes, there you go.
Have a great day.
Bye, Teresa.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, bye-bye.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. So fun, right? I love it.
Well, that's a tough job, boy. Wow.
I know. Well, listen, our goal is to never get political, never talk about things you don't talk about, because that's what these stories about.
But
But it's
she's the
great.
result of an incredible family experience.
Yeah.
Family was just so well rounded, got stuff done. It's public service. You rarely see that today.
Yeah. And the thing is that, listen, yeah, we are people and we don't have to always agree on things, but I love that she's coming from a place of really caring about her community, caring about helping people, making sure that kids have the opportunities. And I don't follow politics, so I don't need to, but I know that as a person, I think she's an incredible human to take that on, because I would not want to take on that responsibility.
Someone's got to do it.
Maybe one day, not now, but
Glad she's there.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So thank you, Teresa, again. Thank you, listener, for being with us. We are just so pumped. We have some really exciting things coming for you as listeners and what's happening. If you knew somebody that should be a guest in our show, please go to the website, jamiemarco.com/podcast. You can submit their information there. We look forward to bringing even more stories to you, diverse stories with different people, different backgrounds, and getting advice from them and hopefully maybe inspiring you on what your next step is for in your story.
Because I'm sure in life you often walked up to someone and says, "Hey, what's your story?"
In fact, what's your story, Stan?
Hold on. Look.
All right.
To be continued.
Until next time, that's her story.
Over and out. Bye-bye. Hey, thank you for tuning into today's What's Your Story podcast.
To learn more or share your story, go to jamiemarco.com. That's www.jamiemarco.com. And we will see you next time.